This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1618, Previews!
Laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything you read in comics, movies, games, toys, artists, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek, uniting the world's mightiest heroes. This is...
I'm Brian Chrisman.
I'm Shane Kelly.
And I'm Chris Everly.
Comic Geek Speak.
And welcome to the show. Yes, it's time once again for previews, where we go through the previews catalog. This is the August 2016 previews catalog for items shipping to stores beginning in October of this year, 2016. So there's a section of the Halloween items up at the front. So we're going to go through the catalog and try to give you some ideas of things you may want to pre-order, things that catch our eye. And as always...
God, I thought you said cat's our eye. I'm like, I didn't see that in here.
I may have. I'm not sure what I'm saying right now.
It's me.
But as always, these previews episodes are brought to you by Discount Comic Book Service. Go to dcbservice.com for all your pre-ordering needs. Because when you pre-order from DCBS, right away, any DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, or Image books you pre-order are 40% off the cover price. Most other publishers are between 20 and 35% off cover price. And, of course, they run many specials of 45, 50, 60, sometimes up to even 75% off cover price. They continue. This is like a mainstay of theirs, this half off, all new trades and hardcovers from DC and Marvel. That's been that way for quite a while. They are continuing on that.
Don't jinx it.
Plus, they also run many, many bundles where they will put together a bunch of books for one price with one theme, and they are continuing their DC Rebirth bundles at like half off. So we'll touch on a lot of that throughout the episode. Of course, you can add bags and boards to your order, get your book shipped to you weekly, twice monthly. We've used them for quite a long time. Love them. Discount Comic Book Service, DCBService.com.
I should really look into letting them bag and board my books, because I think it's been 4 years since I bought bags and boards.
Wow.
I just keep them, because I've been getting, quote, less, not 10 books an issue, but I am getting less than I used to. I just figured, I'll just catch up. Yeah, right, catch up, sure. Now I'm getting way far behind on bags and boards.
All right, just want to make another announcement before we get too far. Like I mentioned a few times already, this September 5th of 2016 is Jamie D's 50th birthday, and I wanted to do sort of a nice episode, so we're not always dwelling on anniversaries of people's passings. So I've encouraged the listeners, if they want to send in their memories of Jamie, an anecdote, if they've met him or whatever, a favorite moment on the show. You can certainly do that. You can call our voicemail line. That number is 267-702-6642. Or if you just want to record an MP3 of your own, you can certainly do that and send it to us at the email, comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. I just want to do something nice. So if you decide to do that, please try to get those in before the end of August of this year. That way I have enough time to compile them, put them all together. But I just wanted to mention that again as we get closer to that anniversary.
Here we come. Here we come.
Before we get into the episode, is there anything else we want to bring up? We're just going to jump right in and do the previews.
Yeah, jump.
Plunge right in.
Plunge right in.
Jump.
Yeah. All right. Well, now, as I did mention, this is the Halloween issue of previews, and they do have, I think we talked about this before, Chris, they have what they call the Halloween Comic Fest. On
That's
October
correct.
29th. We'll talk a little bit about that, Mr. Everly, since you're a retailer.
Sure. Thank you, sir. As many listeners probably know, Halloween Comic Fest is essentially like a free comic book day for the latter part of the year. And many of the companies release an assortment of free comics. And if a retailer participates, you sign up with Diamond and so forth. And then you put these comics out, however many the retailer wants to order, because we do have to pay for them. A small amount for each copy. and then people come in and they can grab free books. And I don't know what other stores, but we always do a sale. And we're going to be doing another one for this Halloween Comic Fest for sure. And we'll also be having another auction. So that'll be is that October 29th, you said, Pants?
October 29th, but it's a Saturday.
Yeah, so that's Saturday. We don't have all the details hashed out yet, but we will be definitely holding our major fall sale in conjunction with Halloween Comic Fest on that day, Saturday, October 29th. So if you're a fan of the show, of Wild Pig, or both, of back issues, of great deals, and you want to get some free books, if you're in the region, please visit us. You will not be disappointed. That will be on
So far,
October 29th. And I'm sorry, Shane, go ahead.
No. So far, that's the only thing on my calendar.
Nice.
So I was on it first. If anything else comes up, first.
Honored, brother. And as that date draws closer, we'll have more details about exactly what kind of sale we'll be running. But it's always, I'm sure that as the gentleman in the studio can attest, it's always worth a consumer's time.
Oh, yes, it
Absolutely.
is.
So,
and of course, it's wildpigcomics.com at 14 South Michigan Avenue in Kenilworth, New Jersey. I love Sam.
Thanks, Pantaloons.
You're very welcome. All right, enough tomfoolery. On to the preview, starting with Dark Horse.
I wanted to just touch on the Halloweeny stuff.
Oh, sure.
please.
I was looking at page 34 through 37.
Uh-huh.
And the Action Lab, the American Mythology, what the heck was that? I wrote it down for a reason. Where the heck is it? American Mythology, where are you? There it is, Three Stooges Halloween comic.
Uh-huh.
That looked fun. The DC books, including a Supergirl one, DC Superhero Girls one, modeled after cartoons, so that should be fun. And Scooby Apocalypse Hanna-Barbera edition. My Little Pony, A Haunted Mansion from Marvel for the Disney side of the house. Archie Madhouse and Boom all look kind of fun. So, yeah. I always look forward to Free Comic Book Day and Halloween Day. The Comic Fest.
And my friend, will do our best to accommodate you at Wild Pig.
Oh, you will. You always do.
So, since you talk about Halloween, Shane, when was the last time we had a Halloween party?
Oh, I know. Every year we talk about trying to get a date together. We were supposed to get one out by July. That hasn't happened yet, so Carlene and I are still working on trying to make that happen this year because it's been 5 years.
Has it been that long?
Well, we've never had one in the new house. I've been in the new house 4
never
years.
had one in the new house?
Nope.
Oh, man. What if we just come over dressed as ourselves and just ask for stuff? Would that work?
Yeah, well, it works. It used to work all the time.
Pants, hide the China.
Hi, Pants.
All right.
Pants, I like that sort of, honeymooners type voice you had going on there. Well done.
Every now and then I can bring it out, okay? I'm a man about four voices.
We should also mention before we plunge in that Murd is not here, so we're going to hold off on announcing our OTRs until we have time to
And Danny, of
confer with
course,
him.
is not here as well.
Yes, so we can confer with them.
All right. Anyway, on to Dark Horse.
Dark Horse.
Well, right away, page 44, our new
Yep.
Serenity miniseries.
That's right. Boy, the art looks good on that next page, on page 45. Sometimes I'm a little bit iffy on TV and movie properties being made into comics, how good or bad the art is, and this one looks pretty good, just from that page.
Well, I think it's the only Serenity you're going to get, so you might as well
I agree with that, too.
plunge in and read it if you're a fan. It looks like it is taking place after the film, because I don't see...
People might not have watched that yet.
Really? All right.
I just watched it myself like 2 months ago. I had never seen the film.
Really?
Yeah, it was 2-3
Oh, my
months ago.
apologies. I didn't know that.
Oh, no. Hey, I'm good. I saw it. I know what happens.
Damn good movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it was a lot of fun. Didn't expect the ending either.
Yeah. All right, I'll say no more then.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump down your throat there, Chris.
No, I was right there with you because there's something major that happens in there that if people don't know, they should know.
There's several things that major happen in there, actually.
Well, I think it's fair to say then watch the movie before you read that comic then.
I would agree with that.
I would imagine most people probably would have.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You never know. Page 47, the adult coloring book trend continues. Dark
sure
Horse is
does.
releasing a Star Trek original series, a Next Generation, and a Buffy the Vampire Slayer one.
These are all over the place.
You're not
We've
kidding.
got Harry Potter ones at the store.
There's one
all-
later that I'm going to mention specifically for Matt,
Okay.
but that's in the back of the book.
Okay.
But yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Well, when you get a good idea,
Oh, heck yeah.
there's imitations and serious form of flattery. I don't know who started this trend.
I don't either. I saw them last Christmas at Barnes & Noble, just generic, like flowers, bugs, scenes, whatever, and all of a sudden properties went crazy
Yep,
with it.
yep.
Even my wife's grandmother, my grandmother-in-law, who's 92,
Oh, my goodness.
is coloring
that's
these
right.
things.
You mentioned that. Yeah.
She just did a whole nother batch. We went and visited her. She gave one to Carlene and has 2 or 3 in the works. It's amazing. They look fabulous. Page 48. This looked interesting. Spell on Wheels. 3 young witches lose all their magical items and they have to go search to find them and take them back. Just seemed like a more fun version of the Friday the 13th TV show where all the cursed items were out there and they had to go try and gather them all up.
Okay.
Just looked like a fun book. I don't know what...
I don't recall that show. When was that on?
Oh, 90s, I want to say,
Oh, I totally missed that one.
on
Okay.
Fox.
Oh, before I get too far astray here, the Serenity issue #1 is 60% of a DCBS,
Wow.
$1.59.
And that's and that, by the way, is a miniseries too. 1 of 6, I
That's
think.
correct. That's
yeah, 1 of
correct.
6. A lot of miniseries in this previews to take note of.
Certainly.
I wanted to point out, if I may, jumping ahead to page 55, the series Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire. I read the first issue.
As did I.
It was outstanding.
Wasn't it, though?
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Pants. So, if anyone has a real love for sort of look peeling behind the curtain of like a golden age of heroes, you got to pick this book up because it's very much about those types of heroes and sort of what happens to them in a more shades of gray type world. It's really the first issue I thought was sensational.
Yeah, I think Murd championed that when it was first announced.
He did. Yep. And it was right of him to do so because
Yeah,
it was
I
really
got
good.
I got on his recommendation, and that's one thing I love about these episodes is, which I'll get to later, is recommendations from other geeks.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
I would have my order placed, quite frankly. I did it the other day, but I can always add to it, which is great with DCBS. Well, if I don't do it right away, I might forget it, so I would have my order placed.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never get that close.
It's a shame that did you salvage your July order in time?
I did. It was like midnight that night or 11:30 that night. I'm filling the damn thing out. Yeah. Time gets away.
Yeah.
Page 54,
Understand.
I wanted to bring up the Muhammad Ali hardcover.
Yes.
If you're a fan of Muhammad Ali, it looks like an interesting read from critically acclaimed French graphic novel, now available for the first time in English.
Right, so this is
over
not
here.
a cash grab.
No,
or
no.
cash. This has been out there for a while.
Yeah, it just looked interesting. I love things like, oh my gosh, what's the one that we've read on Book of the Month? Black Sod, those kind of things. So this looks something similar in format, and you know, I was always interested in Muhammad Ali, especially as a kid. I know my one neighbor is, so I may pick it up, read it, and then loan it to him, and because he used to box through high school and college, so he might find it
cool.
interesting too. But it just looked neat.
I'm jumping ahead to page 61. If you're a Conan fan, and I'm a Conan fan, not like a hardcore Conan fan, but I've always appreciated the character. They're putting in omnibus form the Kurt Busiek, Carrie Nord run from Dark Horse. Well, this when Dark Horse first got the license for Conan.
Okay.
And these are highly acclaimed interpretations of the Conan saga. So if you're a fan of Conan, you've ever read these stories, I highly recommend this omnibus. It's 472 pages for $24.99. So I recommend that. What else for Dark Horse, gentlemen?
I don't have a whole lot other than to say if you're a fan of art in general, drawing things, people, these art of Recore and Dishonored, which I think are video game properties, look interesting from an art perspective to see
What page are you talking to?
66 and 62. Just to put it out there, something different to look at in an
Right,
art book
right.
for figures and how things are drawn, and it looks like they have turnarounds of different characters. Just something interesting.
I want to point out page 73. Again, I salute Dark Horse for continuing to produce deluxe editions of classic series. You've got Creepy Volume 25 from Warren Publishing originally. Next to that, from the legendary EC Archives, Crime Suspense Stories Volume 2. So if you're a fan of those genres, of the history of these characters, those are definitely books worth checking out. And on page 75, I've never read Astro Boy, I have to say. Has anybody read Astro Boy?
No, I've never read
I
Astro
have
Boy.
not, no.
Okay. It's a seminal title from Japanese manga.
It is, yeah.
I have the theme song on my iPod.
Not what he asked.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Anything else for Dark Horse, gentlemen?
I do not have anything else
Nothing
for
for
Dark
me,
Horse.
no.
Let's go to DC.
Okay.
On page 79, advertisement for the Baltimore Comic Con.
Yes. Are you going, Shane?
I'm planning on it. It's Sunday. If everything goes as planned so far, yes, Sunday. Would be
I
the
already
day.
have room with 2 of the friends split. It's all good down in the harbor.
That much time I can't dedicate to.
I'm
Unfortunately,
going to go down and get some crab.
Nice.
I'm ashamed to say I've yet to go to the show.
my God!
Oh my God!
I know.
Of all people, that is a
I know it's-
fantastic show.
I know it's has a reputation for being more of a pure comic show.
It
It
is,
sure
yeah.
is.
It always falls on one of the most difficult weekends of the year for me.
Yeah.
Um,
And actually, this year the
but,
Yankees are also in town this weekend.
I remember that from a few years ago. That was a nightmare for parking.
Yeah.
but
Take the
we'll
light
see what
rail.
we can-
I thought about that.
I consider the light rail.
I thought about that.
Take the light rail. Trust me.
DC, page 80, 81, and 82 are their young
Yep.
animal titles.
Yep,
Cave
yep.
Carson has a cybernetic eye.
Uh-huh.
Shade the Changing Girl and Doom Patrol #2. The other 2 are #1s. I'm interested in them. I'll give them a shot. I already ordered Doom Patrol #1 from last month. I'm curious to see what they do with these titles, at least for a couple months.
Yes, and actually, I already pre-ordered them because through DCBS they have a young animal bundle.
Now, that's separate from like the Rebirth bundles.
Yeah, because there are, I think there's like 4 different rebirth bundles.
Oh, there's like 17, it seems.
But no, yeah, this is a separate bundle. I'm actually stalling it. Okay, yes, it's actually try all 3 of them for half off cover price combined.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And
Pants, I'm brain farting. Was Cave Carson a Silver Age character?
yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
First appeared in Brave and the Bold 31, I think. I actually have with me the latest Overstreet guide, which I always use for reference, so sometimes I'll have to go pull that up. But yeah, he's one of the forgotten heroes. One of the several characters introduced in those anthology titles, Brave and the Bold Showcase, who never had his own title.
Really?
Yeah, never had his own title. Showed up every now and then, like I said, with the Forgotten Heroes. But interesting, I will see what kind of who do we have the creative team here? Of course, Gerard Way and John Rivera writing it, and art and cover by Michael Avon Oeming. Excellent.
Yeah, that interested me a lot on that book.
Yeah, I was right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Brave and the Bold 31, first Cave Carson.
Excellent.
Scarce and high grade. Ooh.
Do you have it?
No, I don't have it. I don't think I do have it.
Really?
Wasn't sure how far back you went with
Oh,
your
I'll
Brave
have
and
to
the
check
Bolds.
my list, but I don't think I have it. I think I've got issue 32, though. Someone keep
I
going.
think it's-
Page,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just saying. I think it's great that DC is going to give a character who hasn't had much of a chance to shine in terms of his own appearances to get his own title. So
Yeah, and these look like
interesting.
ongoings, right?
I
don't
believe so,
see
yeah. Shade the Changing Girl, and of course issue 2 of a Doom
Doom
Patrol.
Patrol.
Because you have issue 1 from last month, whereas I believe you did it as an off-the-rack pick.
Page 83 has.
Oh my
Batman-
God, I don't have issue 31. I was right.
Now you got to get it.
I got 32 and 33.
Okay. Page 83 has Batman Beyond #1, written by Dan Jurgens, art by Bernard Chang, with Terry McGinnis back as Batman. I haven't finished the previous Batman Beyond title. I know who's in the suit from the beginning of that. I just have to catch up and finish reading that one. But I always love seeing Batman Beyond. Such a great cartoon, and very pleased when DC put him into the DC universe proper as a character.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, there actually are 5 DC
God.
Rebirth bundles, 4 of the regular titles and 1 of just the variants through DCBS. Yeah, this is, I believe, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th month?
Something like
that
that.
they've done that. I actually stopped after, I think, 3.
I'm going on so far with it for now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I can't keep it up forever because at some point, all these issues, especially the double issue ones, are going to kill me. But I'll give it a little
Well,
bit
yeah,
more.
I just got my July DCBS shipment the other day. I had almost 60 comics in there. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah,
damn. Even not just DC, but other things like that's a huge order for me.
it sure is. Me too. Teen Titans #1 comes out on page 84, written by Benjamin Percy, art and cover by John Boy Myers. Cover looks nice. And let's see, Batman Beyond.
I want to
Titans.
point out how good the new Aquaman series is. I just read issues 1 through 4 by Dan Abnett, is the writer of that, and it's been outstanding.
Yeah.
He's
I have
really. I'm sorry, Shane. Go ahead.
I have the Rebirth in the first 2 issues done.
Yeah, he's really addressing that classic tension between the surface world and Atlantis, and how Aquaman's trying to bridge that gap in a different way. I think it's been an outstanding book so far. So I'm enjoying that thoroughly. I have a lot of these Rebirth issues, but I'm so behind in them. I haven't been able to read a lot of them yet.
I have read,
So-
and I'll talk about it on the next episode. We do a little bit more in-depthly. I read every issue of the first month's release. And now I got my next shipment, so the only one out of that one I have read is Birds of Prey. That was the first one I grabbed and read that.
Batgirl and the Birds of Prey.
Batgirl and the Birds of Prey.
Rebirth
And I
#1.
think I read, I might have read the next Batman issue too, as well, which I think is issue 2. But yeah, that Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, man, that was the first one I grabbed out of there. Let's see. Nightwing, Detective. I was trying to figure out the other months, and I have to look this up. We were just talking about this being like the 4th or 5th month or something that Rebirth is happening. And here's Nightwing already at 7, but I don't remember it being double shipped in previous months.
I just got my July box, and it had Rebirth 1 and issue #1 in there.
Okay, so maybe it would be for
And
a
it
little
does
while.
say here, right there, black and white chain, now
Twice shipping.
shipping twice monthly.
But yet only issue
You
7.
do the math.
Only issue 7's in there.
What did I just say?
I know.
There was Rebirth #1 and issue #1.
I know how much Shani Poo enjoys double shipping. But
Oh, I know. I mean, at least for now, I am enjoying that. You know, all the double shipped books I've read really aren't that bad. Really pretty good, and I'm enjoying them. I just can't. No, I know I can't keep it up for long, so I will have to pick my favorites and go from there. Page 97, I thought was a great cover. The Flash number 8 and 9, and one of the
Yeah.
covers is Kid Flash of Two Worlds, which is
Yeah.
great.
oh wow,
This should be fun.
that is a great cover. I'm jumping ahead to page 115. There's a great Bronze Age throwback here. Dead Man, The Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love, #1. Now, The Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love was one of DC's gothic romance titles in the Bronze Age, and now they're incorporating Dead Man into it.
Wow.
That could be very interesting.
Yeah, I had that on my list. It's one of 3, so it is a miniseries. On the
Half off, first issue.
which is a no-brainer to me to read Dead Man again, even incorporated in this. Should be a lot of fun. On the previous page is the second volume of DC Superhero Girls Hits and Myths trade paperback. So if you got the first volume, check this one out. I got the first volume for my nieces, and I'll probably order this one for them too.
And then the next page, 116, Hawkman and Adam Strange, Out of Time #1. I was trying to think if we've seen Adam Strange since Flashpoint. Again, I did drop off with DC after about the first year or two of post-Flashpoint, so I don't know if he has appeared or not.
I don't recall seeing him in the books I was reading.
Okay, well, the first issue is half off, only $1.99. This 6-issue miniseries.
Next page is Midnighter and Apollo, which is another miniseries.
On the following page, they're bringing back a new incarnation of the Vigilante character. So they keep that's I think the second or third time they've resurrected that character.
Yeah.
And then the following page, on page 119, we have a 75th anniversary special for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I'm going to pick that one up.
I am too. Have we had individual issues of like Batman and Superman during their anniversaries for that? Because I don't remember
I
that.
don't recall.
There were hardcover collections.
There
reprints,
were,
know
and I
that.
think there's one
Yeah.
of those for Wonder Woman too. I was curious about a special for Wonder Woman when the others had none, which is great. I'll pick it up. It looks interesting. Dark
On
Knight
page
Mas-
one, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Well, on 120, Dark Knight Master Race finally comes to issue 7, and the trade is solicited in the back of the DC section as well.
Oh, okay.
I've only read issue 1. I got to catch up on that.
Same here.
I don't really have formed an opinion of it because I only read the first issue. So,
I'm right there with you.
oh, shame. Page 122, He-Man and Thundercats, #1.
Yeah. Written by Rob David and Lloyd Goldfine, with art and covers by Freddie E. Williams II. I'm extremely interested to read that. I'm not the biggest He-Man fan, but I loved Thundercats.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was a huge Thundercats fan. Never had any of the toys, but the cartoon, man, I was hooked.
Well, I know Murd is a big He-Man fan.
He's a huge He-Man
Oh, yeah.
fan.
And first issue is half off.
Now, have any of you heard anything about titles like Earth 2 Society? Because they're still going, and I expected them to end by now, and start over
I
later?
have not.
Okay.
I have not.
I thought maybe I was in a information vacuum where I missed something.
Look at that cover to Future Quest number 6 on page 127.
Oh, isn't that neat?
Fantastic.
I just that's the way to do Hanna-Barbera books, man.
Shaner has the perfect sensibility, that artist, for those types of characters.
Yeah. I should give the other ones a try. I just can't bring myself to.
Shane, page 129, Scooby-Doo Team Up.
I know, with Zatanna.
Zatanna.
Woo-hoo! That's great. That's such a fun book.
You still getting it?
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, man. The kids have died away from reading it right away. They may ask for an issue here or there, but I haven't. That's a lot of fun. And I'm actually somewhat interested in the Looney Tunes above it because there's Foghorn Leghorn with Marvin the Martian's helmet and ray gun. I love Marvin the Martian.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Jumping ahead to page 133 in trades,
right
giving
there
Adam
with you.
Strange the Silver Age Volume 1 treatment.
Yep.
Yeah.
I ordered that already. I got its half off. I can't recall. There may have been an archives collection of Adam Strange, but I don't have it. So yeah, this caught my eye. You know, I love how they did Suicide Squad recently. The Silver Age Suicide Squad, a collection which I haven't, so I could order this.
And I
Absolutely.
love this cover treatment, this logo.
Cover's beautiful.
It's
Yeah,
a
Michael
fantastic.
Cho. Yeah, absolutely love that.
Just on the previous page, I wanted to bring this to your attention and ask your opinion about it because I know they're
Me?
doing. Oh, both of you.
Oh, okay.
Because I know they're doing something similar with Watchmen down the road. At least I think that came out of San Diego. On 131 at the top, DC Universe Rebirth 1 Deluxe Edition hardcover. It's just that one issue in a hardcover with some extra stuff and information and drawings and stuff, and that's great. But I think I heard where they're releasing a collection, a slipcase of Watchmen, where each issue is individually collected as a hardcover book.
That is correct.
I'm not so sure I'm keen on... Now, the Watchmen one might be different because, again, it's one collection, so that'd be kind of cool. But I'm not too keen on one issue being a whole hardcover collection.
Well, then don't buy it.
Well, come on, Shane. They're going to milk it any way they possibly can. So,
But I just...
you know.
Something that would interest you guys, like if it was something... Watchmen, we all have copies of Beyond Belief, but it was something new that they collected like that, individualized. Would you consider something like that?
I bought the one that came out for $2.99. I got it for 74 cents. That's all I needed. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm curious about the bonus goodies I'm curious about, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
spend the extra money
$17,
for that.
$18. No,
Even though,
half off.
even though it's half off,
Half
like
off.
over $8.99.
But like if they collected Hush or something like that, I don't know that I care to have each issue individualized like that. Interesting trend if that starts to become
Well,
more
then we
prevalent.
you don't have to buy it then.
Oh, I know. Just curious. We're all guilty of buying things multiple times now.
Some of us more than others.
Given to Mateus Justice League. Sadly, I'd probably go, that might be fun in a stupid-ass kind of way. But, yeah, I would do it. Maybe.
Shane, I understand, believe me. Page 130 with Superman the Golden Age Volume 2, continuing that series again of these types of, beautifully produced reprint collections. Again, that they seem to have replaced their old Chronicles series, which I miss because those were very affordable.
Yeah.
But this is pretty good, too. 400 pages for $19.99. So, next page, Batman the Brave and the Bold, the Bronze Age Omnibus hardcover.
I hope that they give that the trade paperback treatment then because I really want that one in trade. I don't want an omnibus of that, but I really want those Brave and the Bolds in trades.
I got to point out on that same page, 139 at the bottom, 139, Sugar and Spike Metahuman
Yes.
Investigations trade paperback. I love this. This
Yeah?
is one of the 4 things out of Legends of Tomorrow, the
Yep.
the 80 pages with
Firestorm.
Firestorm, Metal Men, and Metamorpho. Sugar and Spike, grown-up investigators, never would have caught my eye before, but actually reading it, Keith Giffen is doing a bang-up job writing. There's all kinds of little obscure DC tidbits he's throwing back at you.
Nice.
The art by Bilquis Evely, she's out of Brazil, is tremendous. It's so crisp, so clean. It's absolutely wonderful. I love this. I just read issue 5. Just came out. Issue 6 is going to come out in a couple of weeks. Again, the trade. Tempted. I'm not going to do it, but I'm tempted to buy the trade just to have it all together there. But this is just an awesome series.
Well, and right above
I'm
that...
going to I'm sorry, Shane. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. Go, Chris.
So I'm going to get the trade because I only read issue 1, and we haven't been getting the individual comics from my shop, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading those.
Oh, it's
in their entirety.
wonderful. It
Well,
really is.
I wonder if they're going to give every story group that treatment if this goes well.
Well, I don't know. They've only seen this one so far. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the other three.
And that's the one I would not have expected to see like this right away. I would have expected Firestorm.
For
or
me, it's the
Metal Man.
breakout of the four of them. It
Wow.
really is.
Yeah, it may have received so much critical acclaim that DC decided to go right to
Sure.
trade paperback.
Right.
Above that, they're reissuing the Space Ghost miniseries.
Yeah, and if you're into oh my gosh, what was it? The Future Quest, and you want a little bit more info on Space Ghost, check that out. That was a good read. Previous page 137, just putting it out there, the Multiversity trade paperback. If you want everything in one collection.
Now, I have to go to page 141. I really wish Danielle were here now because she would be groaning because of my passion for the Lost Boys. It's on my store all the time over the years.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Written by Tim Seeley, which is a great choice.
Yeah,
They're doing a comic book sequel with the original characters. And it's in a good old Santa Carla with its always riotous boardwalk. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this. I think Tim Seeley's a great choice for that.
Half off issue number 1.
Have you ever seen the sequel movie that they did?
I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it.
Me either. Even though Corey Feldman was behind it and was trying to get Corey Heyman before he passed away, I have not watched it yet.
All right, what else? Should we go to Vertigo?
Let's see. Somewhere in there, page 134, had interesting Dark Horse Justice League trade paperback featuring characters that were crossed over with Dark Horse in miniseries. I think that Dark Horse mostly produced.
Oh, yeah.
And at the very bottom, a Green Arrow adult coloring book. Just putting it out there. That's interesting,
Hey,
man.
again, make some money. God
Heck
bless
yeah,
them.
man.
God bless
And-
America.
And if it gets everyone interested in coloring, as in colorist type stuff, why not? I mean, you're getting pages of mostly produced art in some way that you
Sure.
can color yourself and see how it is. I mean, I can't see a bad side to this. If
Yeah, I mean, I love looking at line art,
Yeah.
before it gets colored and, black
Yep.
and white. This is great.
it's a neat
I
concept.
have no talent for coloring, so I won't be buying them, but God bless them.
I want to point out on page 146, we're in the Vertigo section here, two important trades. Northlanders Book 2. This is Brian Wood's Viking saga. This is an outstanding series. This is the epic conclusion to it, which chronicles an entire family as they try to maintain their hegemony over their particular sort of fiefdom. Magnificent. And then below that, Sam and the Overture, Neil Gaiman's Return of the Characters, now being printed in a trade paperback. I tried to stay with that book, but the issues came out so infrequently that I just wasn't able to keep up with it. So I'm looking forward to reading that now in its entirety in a trade.
On the next page, 147, the Unwritten Deluxe Edition, Book 1 hardcover. If you're like that comic and never got trades of it, and you want some hardcover.
That was a great book, and I didn't
It was.
finish it, so I may have,
Yeah,
may
I
have
know.
to
I
pick those
got
up.
the first trade, never finished.
I got the first 4. I read the first 2, and I hadn't gotten past those. Page 151 has DC TV figures of Hawkgirl, Firestorm, and Zoom. And on the next page has yet another 7-figure collection of new JLA.
And I love the selling point here. 7 action figures, just $100.
Uh-huh.
What kind of selling point is that? Why am I yelling also? Someone tell me, please.
Because that's expensive.
It's expensive as shit.
I mean,
Sorry.
we remember when they were
Sorry,
like,
now I got to put oh, jeez.
just do it over and cut that part out.
No, I won't know. That's fine. I'll have to. Pants swore.
Pants, I think it's appropriate. You're just.
Well, I
We're
work
so
at a
concerned.
toy
You're
store, and I see the prices going up,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just got out of it. I had to get out of it. It was
You
crazy.
and me both. You and me both. I do like the scale guide aside of it. That's
That
kind
is-
of
that is
interesting.
nice. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice. The
Just
statue,
$100.
Just $100.
Ooh.
The black and white Batman statue next to it's kind of nice too. But yeah, $100 for 7 figures. Well, I guess in today's standards isn't all that bad. However, it's still $100.
But it just goes to show how out of bounds most of the stuff is now for most consumers. Who the
Oh,
hell
yeah.
can spend $100 on action figures?
Yeah.
Most
Right.
people can't.
Right.
That's right.
So,
All right.
On to
IDW.
All
Page
right.
157 through 160, Revolution for all their titles. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to get them because I'm trying to read up. I love the little Matt Tracker variant cover at the bottom of 156. Looks like an action figure with oh gosh, I forget what the other property was that I'm thinking of. But yeah, neat cover. No,
I want to point out on page 163, Star Trek Boldly Go #1.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
Again, beautiful artwork. Again, we're in the 50th anniversary of the franchise, and IDW's done a couple different books in tribute to that, and this is the latest. And last month we talked about a new anthology they're going to be doing. So this looks a lot of fun. Art looks outstanding.
And half off issue number 1.
Page 164, Back to the Future number 13. I wanted to point out the Chris Iliopoulos variant subcover.
Subscription cover, yeah.
Anybody read any of that? Because Bob Gale, the writer of the original movie, is the scripter of the comic. Has anybody read the book at all?
I've read the first couple issues. They're fun. The art bothers me a little bit because it's a little bit wonky, but it's a fun story. I'm surprised that they've gone to 13 issues. Not to say that it's a bad book. I'm just surprised it's got some longevity now that they're continuing with it and they have a mini-series or two out there all surrounding Back to the Future.
I should point out on page 169, Murd is a fan of the Dirk Gently character.
As am I.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, sir. And he has a new mini-series coming out.
Is that a thinly veiled... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. No, go ahead, please.
Is that a thinly veiled Doctor Who?
In the way it's drawn here, yeah, he kind of looks like it. I mean, he is kind of futuristic that way. When I read the first novel. I never read the second one, and I never got a true Doctor Who vibe off of him.
Okay. I'm just not very familiar with the character.
It sure looks like David Tennant the way it's drawn here.
Maybe why they did it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Hey, I need to sell a book. Absolutely. You know?
Yeah.
On page 174, Alex Toth's Bravo for Adventure Artist Edition hardcover. Of every comic story Alex Toth ever drew, the only one that he kept the complete original art for was Bravo for Adventure.
Wow.
This artist edition is a virtual how-to course in drawing comics the Toth way. Wow.
That's interesting.
I didn't realize that. I didn't read the blurb that close. Wow.
If you're a Toth fan, this one you probably almost certainly should pick up. It's coming out in December. So.
That's neat.
On page 178, they were releasing in softcover Richard Stark's Parker the Alpha. Darwin Cook, before his passing, did a series of these magnificent graphic novels, beautifully designed. The Parker character, Richard Stark or Donald Westlake's crime noir series. I can't recommend these enough.
I agree.
Absolutely.
They're fantastic.
Yeah. I got them all when they came out in hardcover.
Me too.
They're all amazingly noirish and just absolutely gorgeous to look at and just riveting.
Now, I did get the one prose novel, but I have not read that version of it yet. But I got that in hardback too when it came out.
If Daniel were here, she'd be raving about the design on these books.
They're gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful.
How they're so... I'm sorry, Pants, go ahead.
The tone with the colors.
The color wash,
yeah. The color wash. Like pretty much one throughout each book.
Well, they're very evocative of the way they're designed. They're very evocative of the time period the stories are taking place, the early 1960s.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in this one, this trade, I like in the bottom right-hand corner, expanded edition featuring the man with the getaway face. So if you didn't get the hardcovers, man, this would be a great chance to get that story and a little bonus.
When you read this, it just hits home what a tragic loss it is that Darwin Cook is no longer with us and with the medium, because it's really one of the great living masters of the medium, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
This is funky. On page 189, Super Weird Heroes.
Ah, yes.
A 500-page omnibus of public domain characters, including ones such as the Hand. Yes, he's a giant hand. The Eye. You got it. He's a huge eye. The Bouncer, the superhero in a skirt's powers bouncing. So,
when I was out at Comic-Con, I was squatting in the panel room to get to the panel that was after it, which was going to be about Christopher Priest. And so the panel before it was about some IDW books, including this one. And I saw Craig Yo's presentation of it. Oh, my God. Just some wacky stuff, exactly.
It just reminds you that there was a lot more being produced in the Golden Age than just the main characters we're familiar with today.
Sure.
Yeah.
So. Page 181 has an interesting Halloween special, Giant Halloween Hex #1, featuring Magic at Dispel from good old Uncle Scrooge comics and DuckTales. And 183 has Duck Avenger #1 as Donald Duck dons a superhero persona, a returning superhero persona in the Duck Avenger.
Want to have an image, gentlemen?
Yes, head into Image next.
There's a lot of #1s here.
There sure
There
are.
always is every month from Image Comics.
but-
Yeah.
I'm excited by Moonshine #1, which takes place during the Prohibition era by Brian Azzarello, art by Eduardo Riso. Looks like there might be a werewolf element to all of this, but I always love a good organized crime story, especially in this era.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that interests me, as well as Reborn on the next page by Mark Miller and Greg Capullo. Reborn #1.
That's it.
A sci-fi kind of edgy book where you die and you go someplace specific, and it looks like a lot of shit happens. It just looks great. The art
well,
looks great.
I love the copy here, Shane. It says, "Not heaven or hell, somewhere else, somewhere you have to fight to survive, somewhere the people from the past are waiting for you, the good and the bad."
Yeah, it looks like fun.
And the next page is Cannibal #1, where the world has been apparently racked by a pandemic that transforms people into cannibals, and all the moral and physical complications that come out of that. Man, they're pumping out a lot of new stuff here.
Yeah.
Green Valley #1 on page 200, written by Max Landis, art by Giuseppe Camuncoli. The Knights of Collodi are the finest in the land, but they've never faced a power like the one that resides in the Green Valley.
Oh, yeah. I was actually at another panel, squatting for another panel afterwards, and I was getting ready for the DC Rebirth panel, and they had a Skybound panel with Robert Kirkman was on it, and towards the end, Max Landis came in and talked about this book and was so passionate about it, and it's like, it really sounded kind of interesting. I can't do him justice because he was very animated about it. He actually was really animated about it, so, but I'm going to have to give this a look here.
Well, the art looks gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sure
On
does.
page 201. So, and then Romulus #1 on page 202, story by Brian Hill, art by Nelson Blake II. Our world isn't free. All of us for generations have lived in the secret control of the ancient order of Romulus until one young woman raised by them, trained by them, betrayed by them, must push through her fear to take a stand against the silent evil that masters our world. Shane, it's a question of time and a question of funds.
Oh, you're
in
not
terms of what we're going to read and what we're not going to read.
You're not kidding.
What I love about Image, I've said this before, is they give you so many choices because they're not afraid to go into any genre essentially.
No, not at all.
In terms of content, and that's why I think they're one of the top publishers out there right now.
Page 211 has Chew 59, second to last issue.
Which is known as the penultimate issue. I love that word.
You do love that word.
Oh, boy.
Great word.
You're going to go into work one day, no matter where you're working, on your second to last day of retirement, and this is my penultimate day.
Arms akimbo.
Yeah. Big vibrato. 217 has.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I Hate Fairyland, issue 10 by Scotty Young. I love his art.
On page 234, has anybody ever read Alex and Ada?
No.
It's a futuristic story where a young man is given as a present by his grandmother or his mother, I forgot which, an android, a female android, and decides to give the android complete sentience and self-awareness. And what happens? I read the first few issues. It was wonderful, but I didn't stay with it. This is a collection of issues 1 through 15. This is Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughan, art by Jonathan Luna. Okay. So, from what I read so far, it's something I would recommend. How are we on Image? Anything else? What do we got here? Page 238. You see this by James Robinson, The Saviors? I'm not familiar with this.
No, neither am I.
I am not.
Let's see. When Tomas Ramirez stumbles upon an extraterrestrial conspiracy to take over the world, his life is forever altered. Now he's banding together those other few souls. We share the knowledge that we are under attack as they attempt to defeat a shadowy alien cabal that is both indestructible and eager to kill everyone who threatens it. It was a mini-series by Robinson. I totally missed this.
I did too.
Well,
Well, we'll have to read it.
get the trade, rectify that.
Indeed, brother. Anything else for Image, my friends?
No, I
Not
don't
for
have
me.
anything else in Image.
All right. Marvel has a lot of stuff to look at this month.
Yeah, they sure do.
we've talked about on other months. It's just been a lot of continuation of Civil War related events and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of number ones in here, or major jumping on points and so forth.
Crap! I didn't know Champions was written by Mark Waid. God.
Oh, you
damn it.
didn't see that? Pants is going to update his
You
Well,
gotta buy it now,
well,
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, shucks. Gosh darn. Oh,
Ratatouille.
Yeah, Fritz and Spitzen.
Page 2 and 3, Champions number 1.
Yeah, I know, but it's
And I
$4.99.
I like
Crap on a cracker.
Humberto Ramos. Is that how you would say that?
Umberto Ramos. I
Humberto
believe.
Ramos.
Well, I mean, it is half off cover price. Why are they calling it? I must have missed something. I almost shouted there. Why am I missing about? A lot of the Marvel books have now.
I don't now
like,
and Shattered.
like now Champions, like now Jessica Jones.
I know.
Did I miss something again with another now new thing?
This
What
is
is
the first.
now is
This is
happening
the
now?
first month because up in the top right hand corner is number 1 now. So this is the first month for this new Marvel now, Shattered now, whatever.
Okay. I don't mean to mock. I just
No, but
wasn't aware of it.
It's this kind of stuff, and I'm going to pick up the Champions number 1, and I might get sucked into the Dead No More, the Clone Conspiracy, because I loved the Clone Saga, but this is where I started to jump off of a lot of Marvel books when they kept continually Marvel now. When
all
will
new
now be
Marvel
soon?
now, all new, all different.
Yeah, like it's too confusing to me. It is to me. That's just me.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm a little bit bitter about it because there's so many Marvel now. Point 1, point.
Okay, well, I've pretty much focused my Marvel buying on, I think, like Silver Surfer, Thor, oh gosh.
Doctor Strange is one that I have been getting.
I sort of let that slip by, but only a handful of Marvel because I just got so confused.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that if I were you, I'd follow the Pants model, which is if you're following certain writers and certain characters that are being addressed in a way that you find innovative, exciting. Marvel has great titles like Silver Surfer, like Doctor Strange, and above all, The Vision.
Oh, The Vision, yes.
Oh, The Vision.
I recommend to anybody to read. And I mean, Champions are definitely going to try out because it's Mark Waid, and if people aren't familiar, the original Champions concept, and they have a reprint of some of it on the next page, page 5. They put together like a really bizarre but fun cast in the 70s. Ghost Rider, Angel, Iceman, Hercules, and Black Widow. And it had a glorious but brief run in the Bronze Age. And they're taking the name with a new cast of characters. The young Cyclops, Miss Marvel, Nova, the young Nova. The Vision's daughter from the Vision series. We have to see what ends up happening there.
Holy crap! I didn't even see that.
Where was that?
Yep.
She's right there, front and center, jumping.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Miles Morales and whoever the totally awesome Hulk is. So,
Yeah, I think
is that
that book
Amadeus Cho? I'm not sure.
looks like a lot of fun.
Oh boy. Well, maybe I won't. Well, my order's been placed. I can always say, no, just skip it.
And Shane, you said you mentioned like the Clone Saga, so they're really pushing that the Clone Conspiracy. The Jackal's coming back.
Yeah, they really are, and I'm debating about getting sucked back into that because I really did like that story.
You like the original Bronze Age or the train wreck in the 90s?
The train wreck in the 90s, up to a point. And then I liked when they released How It Should Have Gone as a self-contained volume. That was a lot of fun to read, too.
Right.
Yeah, the train wreck of the 90s I thought was really good up to a point, and then it crashed. But I still enjoyed it up to that point, and I loved Ben Reilly as a character.
Well, what's encouraging here is that it's all being helmed by Dan Slott.
Yeah, yep.
He's still writing Amazing Spider-Man, and then he's writing also the miniseries The Clone Conspiracy. And Jim Chung artwork, so that's probably going to be worth checking out.
Yeah. It's worth a look. Did you notice in this issue of the Marvel previews, for the first time that I can remember, almost every page has a page number. At least one side of it, so that you can at least figure it out.
Look at that.
I was flabbergasted as I was looking through it this time. I no kidding, I got excited because that was just cool. I could write down page numbers in my list as I was going
It
through.
looks like all of the odd numbered pages are numbered.
Yeah,
The
and
even
that's
ones are not.
perfectly fine. I'll take half over what it used to be. It's improvement.
So page 12, the Prowler's getting his own book.
Yep.
This is interesting on page 16. If you're reading Invincible Iron Man by Bendis and Deodato, which I'm enjoying thoroughly, in that series, Victor Von Doom in the wake of Secret Wars is, as far as we can tell, he trying to, I don't know if atone is the right word, but he's trying to take a different approach to applying his genius in the world, and he's no longer wearing his armor. He's not in Latveria. He's trying to, quote, help Tony, whatever that might mean. But it looks like here that he's going to take over the helm of Iron Man. So that should be interesting.
To say the least, because I don't trust it, but yeah, interesting. And then this is infamous Iron Man. Later in the Invincible Iron Man, doesn't a woman come and take care of being Iron Man as well?
That's being explored right now in the Invincible Iron Man series that's currently running. So that's another book from Marvel I'm really enjoying right now. And another book I'm enjoying is Black Panther. I think Ta-Nehisi Coates is doing a wonderful job addressing the Panther's realm in a way we've never seen before, which is that he's actually possibly losing control of his entire kingdom to internal forces, not from outside forces. So that I highly recommend.
Page 20 and 21 have the Great Lakes Avengers.
Murd's going to be all over that one.
Oh, yes.
And I remember the Solo character from the 90s.
I do not. I was going to ask you guys about that, because I do not remember that character.
No, I don't know anything about that. Don't ask me.
He was a vigilante who waged war against terrorists, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I'm surprised they're bringing him back. He was such a 90s concept, and I don't mean that particularly in a good way, but there he is. So, interesting.
Then on 26 and 27 is Doctor Strange and the Sorcerers Supreme, #1, written by Robbie Thomas with Javier Rodriguez doing the art. Nothing wrong with cashing in on Doctor Strange as the movie's close to coming out. If it's done well.
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited for that film. I have high expectations.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Once again, I want to point out on page 34, and you're right, Shane, it's almost every other page. They have a number now.
Yeah, it's great.
On page 34 and 35, again, Jason Aaron, I think he well deserved that Eisner for Best Writer, because his work on Doctor Strange, working with Chris Bachalo has been so awesome.
Oh, it's fabulous.
And I mean, the synthesis of writing and arts, to me, this is just classic Doctor Strange. Granted, it's got a bit of a modern feel to it, of course, but it's still very much rooted in that character and his world. And it's one of the Marvel's top series right now, in my opinion.
But unlike some of the other Marvel books that have a modern feel too, this one is just outstanding in its trippiness of Doctor Strange's world that he lives in and works in, with still being in the modern era. It's a great
that's
blend.
a good point, Shane, because there's a great synthesis of. You always have to have trippiness in Doctor Strange, but then Aaron throws in these eye-popping. I meant that sort of a pun-like if you've read the stories.
Mm-hmm.
Take on that trippiness. I mean, like when they talk about how Strange has to eat, for example, to sustain himself. What's in the basement of the Sanctum Sanctorum. I mean, he's taking the classic concepts, but he's taking them in new and in some ways very disturbing directions.
Oh yes,
it makes for a great reading, though. I'm going to jump into a book that we're going to discuss our OTRs later on when we have Murd and Danielle with us. But Jessica Jones #1 by the original Alias team.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have that.
Bendis
I have
and
that
Gaydos.
ordered. I got that ordered.
I'm very interested in that as well.
I'm all over that because I think Alias is one of Bendis' greatest moments as a writer in comics. That's that complete series, and I can't wait to see what they do with the second volume here. So that's very exciting.
I'm up on page 70, so I'll hold off if somebody has something in between.
I was going to mention on page 46 the Cage #1 from the Wolverine creator of Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, and Hotel Transylvania. Looks like a fun all-ages book. Luke Cage kicking butt.
And September 30th, Chris.
I saw a new trailer. I have to go watch it.
I saw the trailer. I'm
yet.
very excited.
Netflix.
I just
Very
realized
excited.
the other day as I'm trying to work my way through Stranger Things, I have one more episode of that to go, and I cannot get an hour to watch it. But as I'm going through it, I realized I never finished Daredevil. I have to go back and figure that out, too.
Oh, Shane.
I know. I kept getting sucked into all these other things on Netflix and Amazon Prime, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, crap, I never finished Daredevil.
How is Stranger Things? I've heard good.
Oh, my God. Oh,
Yeah?
absolutely. I don't like horror. I don't like slasher horror.
Nor do I.
This
Nor do I.
is good old-fashioned Stephen King trippy kind of horror. This is like when I got to watch It and Pet Sematary and The Shining and but it's all 80s. It's 1983. All the details of everything around, the commercials, the music, the toys, the clothes, the house decorations, everything is so
The
detailed.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God! It looks like I don't know. This is totally sidetracked, but it looks like something that was made in '83 that was lost, that nobody ever saw.
That was, I think, intentional
Oh my God!
on their part. It's really
beautiful.
Yes, it is.
The whole opening sequence looks like an old film. It's got a little bit of flicker in the top corner. It's got what looks like Stephen King logo coming out. It's got creepy music. Winona Ryder is fabulous in this.
Absolutely. Holy! I swore again. Holy darn, she's great.
She's great. The cast of characters, all the kids, brilliant.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, and I kind of thought after the first episode or two, maybe Ben could watch it and appreciate it. As the series has gone on, I'm not so sure. I don't think.
He's what, 15?
Yeah, and he's not.
He's 15.
Yeah.
but
Well,
15?
he's almost 15.
He's almost 15. Jeez.
He's not the biggest scary kind of kid.
Yeah.
He would get into the 80s stuff in there that I would laugh at, but it's a little bit too creepy, I think, for him at this point because he's not into that stuff at all. I'm not saying another 15-year-old couldn't watch it, but I know mine can. He would get to
Wow, I really got to see the show now.
he
You
would
guys
get
have sold
through
me.
a couple of the episodes and he'd be like, "Nope, I'm done. I'm out."
I kept seeing it all my Facebook feeds.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to take a couple days and I just watch it in like 3 days.
I've binged 2 or 3 episodes at a time. The one night we had to get up really early on a Sunday, and I'm up at like 1 o'clock in the morning trying to cram in one more episode to get 2 or 3 in, and then I get to where I thought I was going to finish it Friday night, and I watched one episode and then I fell asleep after that. And then Saturday I didn't get to do it. We were watching the Olympics. Last night I didn't get to do it. My one kid was having nightmares. So I'm screaming to finish this series. I got one more episode. And I think they're talking about a second series, or at least everyone's hoping that there will be.
Right.
But yeah, I don't mean to get so excited, but it is fabulous. Absolutely brilliantly done.
All right, that's you sold me.
Great show.
Going to jump ahead to page 70. Vision number 12.
That's where I was going to go.
I'm just going to read the last part. It says,
Go ahead.
The epic, stunning conclusion to the most highly praised series of the year. Simply put, this is the issue everyone will be talking about. And I don't think that's hyperbole.
No, I don't
No,
think so
pants
either.
to the words of my mouth. I mean, usually we just dismiss this kind of thing as hyperbole. Not with this series. Not with what we've read so far.
And how about Volume 1 premiering as high as it did on
The New York Times
New York Times
list,
book list?
yes.
Oh, fabulous.
What do you have of that, Shane?
So-
'Cause I have a trade. If you want the trade.
So here's what I have. I have issue 1.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to get all in one volume collection.
Oh, okay.
You kept talking about it so much, as I'm sure it was good. I had no doubt of that with Tom writing it. I had no doubt. But I really wanted a beautiful hardback of that. But I've gotten so impatient that I went online to one of the stores. It was Lone Star Comics, with my comic shop.
Right.
Ordered everything I could. It's on its way to me now. I have to track down issue 4 and 5, I think. But I will have everything else. Okay. And then I will binge read that because I just cannot wait for an all-encompassing volume.
Well, what's exciting about the Vision is that it's a rare title where, as you read it, especially if you're well versed in the history of just comics in general, and Marvel specifically, you realize you're reading something that is truly innovative. That the hyperbole is well earned. Like what King and the artists working with him are doing with a very well established Marvel superhero, we haven't really seen like this before. Certainly in recent Marvel comics by any stretch. I can't recommend this series enough to anyone. Not just forget if you're into the Vision or not. It doesn't matter. This is superior storytelling going on, and it's taking risks, and that's what I love to see. It's not a book that's risk averse. It's plunging in, and it's really overthrowing icons, and it's amazing. I can't recommend the book enough for what it's doing and the ground it's breaking. And
the letters column is answered by Tom King himself.
Well, and that partly when you said about that kind of sold me too. So I had to track down as many as I could.
Because he just talked in the most recent issue about the other company and is mentioning rhymes with Batman. It's just funny stuff.
Oh. Yeah, I just cannot wait.
Anybody mind if I jump the trades?
Yeah, go right ahead. No,
The only other thing I had was page 84. It looks like this is the beginning, the death of X, where the X-Men universe kind of gets reined in
yeah, we
and
haven't
shrunk
really
down.
touched on that because I find them out of no pun intended, out of touch with what's going on at Marvel. I don't know if anybody else is really.
I am too, other than to know that the Terrigen Mists are causing problems for the X-Men to be born, to have powers. I have mixed feelings about why Marvel's doing that, I think, in actuality.
Oh, we all know exactly why Marvel's doing that. Come on.
Because I like my X-Men books, but
Yeah.
hey, this is where we are, so I think the X universe is going to get a lot smaller for a long while.
Page 112, they're doing an omnibus treatment of Daredevil from the Silver Age, issues 1 through 41, annual 1. Beautiful Alex Ross cover to that omnibus. We did a couple years ago. We did a Daredevil in the Silver Age Spotlight. One of the last episodes Jamie D was on, actually.
That's correct. Yes.
Oh wow!
So that was, if you're interested in that history, please check that out. I'm jumping ahead to page 116, Alpha Flight by John Byrne omnibus. Speaking of Jamie D and his passions.
Boy, did he
Oh,
love
yeah.
Alpha Flight.
he was a huge.
And last
Burns
summer,
fan.
I made a point of reading the first 12 issues. I had never read them all in their entirety. Outstanding. Well, they well deserve the reputation. And very much written. And when you read them, you're reminded of the 80s style, the thought balloons, the captions, the narrative, which you don't see that much in comics anymore. It's very interesting, a time capsule to read that kind of material, especially what's done so well with Byrne at the helm. Anything else for... Oh, I actually have to point on page 122. Look at this, Shane.
Yep, that's where I was going to.
Go back to our spotlight on Star Wars Marvel we did last December. The original Marvel Years Volume 1, putting in issues 1 through 23, and the Pizzazz that Murd mentioned, issues 1 through 16, the magazine.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
I will probably pick that up just because of the pizzazz stuff. I have all of them in trade from Dark Horse, but I don't think I have the pizzazz stuff in any kind of format.
So that's part of Marvel's, continues part of Marvel's epic line of trades, which I really enjoy. I mean, everything else is just reprints of ongoing series. Or anybody anything else on Marvel they want to talk about?
Just to get page 158, listing posters with no images.
I want to pick up the Black Widow Volume 1. I got the first issue.
Yeah.
That trades on 145, and Captain America White by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale is on 147 as a trade paperback. So
Blackwood, I read issue 1, loved it. I have to get the rest, so I'm just going to get this trade. Issue 1 was awesome. And
Yeah,
I
I thought
enjoyed
so,
the
too.
Captain America White story quite a bit, too.
I don't think I got all of it, hoping that they would put it out in a trade.
Don't worry, Shane. Everything comes out in a trade these
That's
days.
right. That's
We
what
should
I
also point out
one
152, 153, again, the Epic Collection. If you're interested in Marvel's history, they're more expensive, but you're getting 500 pages in color. Silver Age Thor, Silver Age Avengers. They're continuing those volumes. Then on page 155, the complete Starlin Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
All the Starlin Captain Marvel. So they have issues 25 to 34, Iron Man 55, which of course the first appearance of Thanos. Marvel feature 12, and of course the Marvel graphic novel reprinting the death of Captain Marvel. Classic stuff. All right, should we move on to the rest of the book, gentlemen?
The rest of the
Yes.
book. The first thing I have is up on page 273. So if you have something before that, go for it.
I do. In Aftershock, on page 261 is Animosity number 3. I want to talk a little bit about how, I guess, important it really is to plan your pre-orders and to get as much information as you can about new comics, whether it's through us, through your comic shop, other podcasts, comic shop news, whatever. Murd, a couple months ago, had mentioned from Aftershock a comic called Captain Kidd,
Yes.
written by Mark Waid, sort of a reverse Shazam. I thought, well, that's interesting. I don't think I would have even looked at that had he not mentioned it. Mark Waid, absolutely. So I ordered it, got it, read it, enjoyed it. At the end of the book was a preview of Animosity number 1. This book was just not on my radar. Here's a blurb about Animosity number 1. One day, the animals woke up. They started thinking. They started talking. They started taking revenge. There, in the back of the book, it was 3 two-page spreads, pretty much just a bunch of vignettes of animals, no dialogue, and it got to the end. I'm like, holy cow! I got to buy this book. It sold me just on that. I missed the first solicit altogether. It was written by Marguerite Bennett, from Bombshells. So I looked online. It came out the first Wednesday in August. I found about this on like Saturday night. Because it's Saturday night, I'm reading my comics. What else am I do? I'm just reading my comics at home. So Sunday after work, went to Golio Comics. They didn't have it. Okay. Monday after work, went to West Reading to want collectibles. They didn't have it. Okay, looked online at my comic shop, sold out. Midtown Comics, sold out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, looked a little bit online. Sold out from Diamond. It's like, okay. Well, I could get the digital copy for like $4. Like, no, I want the actual. So I went on eBay and got a copy sent to me for like $12.
Holy cow.
Pants! My
Well,
God.
this freaking comic is just so intriguing, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Don't you hate that?
Because at Aftershock Comics, a new #1, I can't imagine the print run on this was very big.
Yeah.
If Midtown Comics was out of it on the Monday after it came out, because I've been in Midtown dozens of times, and there's books all over the place for new releases. I don't know. So if I would have seen those preview pages months ago, I would have pre-ordered that book.
Yeah.
So that's why these previews are so important
Sure.
to just, because now I have to order the book through eBay, but I put an order in for issue 2 through DCBS. Hopefully they'll get the second one because it just looked amazing. I mean, I never had a book that oh my God, I gotta go out and get this book, but then I couldn't find it anywhere. So that's why it's very important to pre-order your books, whether it's through DCBS, whether it's through your local retailer, give it a pull list. Preach, preach, preach.
Yeah.
Once again, a great PSA from our pants.
And now, back to regular programming. Already in
Aftershock,
progress.
I don't know much about this new label, but they're getting a lot of top flight creators. Like, for example, on page 260, Warren Ellis is helming a new series called Shipwreck.
With Phil Hester on
Phil Hester, yeah. So they're getting some big guns on these
Paul
titles.
Jenkins is writing Alters.
Yeah.
Brian Azzarello. Holy cow.
And page 264, Innes did a wonderful tribute to the Tuskegee Airmen of World War II called The Dreaming Eagles. They're putting this whole story out in a hardcover. I think it's one of Innes' finest World War II stories, and that's saying something. I highly recommend that. Shane, I thought of you on. Well, I think of you often there, honey. But
Hey now.
when I saw you enter the studio on camera, I got like a little spring in my step. But anyway, there's a Big Trouble in Little China and
Escape from New York.
Escape from New York crossover.
At Boom, I saw that.
Yeah, on sorry, I'm trying to get to the page. Here it is.
It's a 302.
Page 302, yeah, from Boom.
That looks like a lot of fun. Both Kurt Russell characters helping each other out or battling each other. Yeah, I had to laugh at that.
No, I'm sorry, Shane. Did you have a page in mind you're talking
I
about?
did,
You mentioned
but
what,
yeah,
270?
273.
Okay. Oh, 73. Okay. Yes!
The Inspector
Yes!
#1, the Pink Files.
Yes!
I love the Inspector Clouseau character from the Pink Panther cartoons. I hope that when you open the first cover, there's a little, battery-operated thing like a card, and it goes doo-doo. That would be fabulous. I know it's not going to do that, but yeah, what a great thing to see that come out.
And there's Doo-Doo.
Doo-doo.
I'm jumping ahead to Dynamite Gentlemen. If you're a Kiss fan,
How about that?
on page 331, written by Amy Chu, artist, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, Kubra Bal. I'm always fascinated by how they can get so much fantasy mileage out of Kiss.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump back a minute if I can to 281.
Okay.
Archie.
Yep.
With issue 13. Veronica's out.
Yeah.
And Cheryl Blossom is in.
What the heck's with that?
Well, you got to read to find out, sir.
I just read Betty and Veronica,
Veronica,
which
#1.
that was great. We'll cover that again later, but so I'm excited for that. So I might that Betty and Veronica issue might suck me into some of these other newer titles.
I now have all the Jughead issues I have to sit down and read. I love Archie.
I'm
Holy
super excited
cow.
for Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh,
I
yes!
pre-ordered that.
Yep.
And on page 284, I might get this Archie Meets the Ramones.
Now, I'm not big into those crazy crossovers they had, like with the Punisher or whatever. Or, no, not into
Predator.
Predator. Wait.
Back in Boom on 305 is Labyrinth's Artist Tribute hardcover. Advance solicited for November. Whole bunch of artists doing a whole bunch of stuff all surrounding Labyrinth for a tribute issue, tribute book. Might be fun. I don't know that I will get it. It's $25. Not terrible, but I'd rather have another story than just an art book. But you know, if you're a huge Labyrinth fan, and I am a pretty big Labyrinth fan, That might be interesting. 307 has the complete Frank Miller RoboCop omnibus coming out in December. Thought that was interesting. And on page 324, I think it's 324. Yes, from Cartoon Books is Razzle, the complete edition hardcover. That might be interesting. I never got
Was that
to finish
story
that
ever finished?
I can only
Gosh,
think because they have the hardback, maybe.
I stopped. I had the issues. I just stopped reading it. I have to figure that out then.
I want to point out on page 334, Dynamite's doing wonderful work with the James Bond property. They're continuing the series written by Warren Ellis, which I cannot recommend enough. If you like your James Bond ruthless, cold, hard, you got to read this book. I mean, this is Bond as I think he's meant to be in terms of the real world. And then next to it, Andy Diggle, the great writer of The Losers, for example, and Thief of Thieves is taking on a James Bond miniseries called Hammerhead. I'll be checking that out as well. Diggle for me rarely fails. So if you're a Bond fan, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a James Bond fan when it comes to comics.
338 has in Dynamite Betty Boop #1.
Betty Boop.
That's hilarious.
I love the Alex Ross homage with the Joker Harley Quinn.
And isn't Murd a Roger Langridge fan?
Yep.
Okay, so we want to refer that book to him then.
And let's see, 347 has Shadow Death of Margot Lane hardcover. And I don't know if I remember seeing this before, but Will Eisner's The Spirit Volume 1 by Matt Wagner.
Both are excellent. I'm reading both series.
Okay.
Spirit I'm behind, but it's wonderful how it just captures the feel of the world of the Spirit. Again, Wagner knows what he's doing. He knows his source material. And The Shadow of the Death of Margot Lane, Murd was hesitant about this because he felt it might be another girl in the refrigerator type story.
Right.
It's still ongoing. I think it's awesome.
Okay.
It's Wagner writing and drawing The Shadow. And he's done some wonderful – he did The Shadow Year 1. He did Shadow versus Grendel, both which were great. So I'm really enjoying his take on the character. Whether or not Margot will end up being that girl in the refrigerator, well, I won't say any more. That remains to be seen.
Okay.
What the hell is Wolf Cop?
Cop Who's a Wolf?
I'm at – this is a movie? I'm clueless.
What page are you on?
Page 346.
Wolf Cop.
I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
looks like it should
Someone
be
can
a
help us
movie.
out in the forums with that one.
Speaking of movies, I'm sorry, but did you see where Lethal Weapon is becoming a TV show?
Yes.
Yes, I
That's
did.
crazy. Anyway.
You too old for that stuff?
No, it's a movie. It's a movie property. It can't be done properly unless it's movies.
I love the original Lethal Weapons.
I
We'll
do
see what
too.
they do with that television show.
Conversation.
What else, gentlemen?
I have the only other comic I have listed down really to look at is a hardcover collection on page 452 in Titan, which is Doctor Who's Supremacy of the Cybermen.
I just read the first issue.
Was it good?
I did enjoy it, yes. I actually enjoyed the prologues that went through in the Comic-Con exclusive, and actually also in some of the other single issues where they had a single page for each of the doctors showing like the Cybermen coming.
Is that the long con? Right there?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah.
I might have to pick that up too then. Give that a read.
Yeah, I actually own the second Doctor's page from that preview.
Nice. And then I have back issue number 93 on page 468. Why? Just because back issue is a great magazine, so why not talk about it? So
Tomorrow's property should be mentioned every month, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I am always lacking in the back of the book with my items. So they're doing a point out, I think, from the Animosity issue.
Well, one thing I wanted to say about Tomorrow's, as Shane mentioned back issue, is that the company does such a wonderful job paying tribute to the history of the medium we all love. Golden Age creators right through the Bronze Age and the Modern Age, looking in depth into characters. I mentioned how in the previous last month's back issue they did a wonderful in-depth look at the Shadow in comics, for example. So these are I can't recommend their publications enough. They do such a great service.
Yep.
as far as the back of the book, on 502, there's a new updated DC Comics encyclopedia from DK. There's a Wonder Woman coloring book on page 508. There's a Doctor Who dot-to-dot book on page 505. And on 508, below the Wonder Woman, and this is the thing for Matt, Die Hard, the authorized coloring and activity book. Die Hard. Next to its Home Alone on page 509. It's just crazy. I mean, hey, it's
Oh.
great. I might have to get that for Matt. That'd be hilarious. And on 512 is an updated Star Trek encyclopedia. I remember having the kind of original one back when I was younger in junior high. 549 has Muppet glasses.
I thought of you when I saw that, Shane.
Quite tempting. 560 has a Space Ghost pop, which I might procure. I get very little toys,
I've
but
seen it in the store, Shane.
Oh,
you
excellent.
should tell me these things.
I don't know that they're out there because
ask.
well, if I miss them, it's okay because then I don't spend the money.
Oh, all right.
But if I happen to come across one, I might pick it up. And then 18 pop figures also just look kind of silly and cool.
Couple great T-shirts I wanted to point out on page 526 for Dark Side. I just thought that was fun. And page 529 for Mad Engine, they got a really nice thing, an Electra shirt there called Serendipity. There's a previous page, a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey Doctor Who T-shirt.
I do like
purple.
that one too.
You've got I really like this Daredevil shirt on page 532 called Shadow of the Daredevil. And Shane, you might like the Star Trek T-shirt next to
Yeah.
that on page 532. I think it's a
50th
nice stylized
anniversary.
design there.
That sure is.
And Great Black Panther T-shirt on page 533.
Nice Gargoyles T-shirt on 532.
Yep. And check out these Star Trek Starfleet Captains also on page 533. I like that design as well. Some fun shirts in this month's previews. Anything else from the funky novelty section anybody wants to talk about?
No.
No, just the very expensive 112 collectibles, Reverse Flash and Superman figures. They're like $70.
Or you get all 7 Justice League for $100, as Pants mentioned before.
It's a bargain. God, toys are so expensive. Oh, Pants, did you see those Mego-like figures in the back, which now encompass like Barbara Gordon, Chief O'Hara, which I think they've had out before, but there's a whole bunch of other ones now.
I can't
What
look
a-
at them. I have low sales resistance.
What a slippery
I'll
slope.
Yeah.
There's
Well, I
all
think
sorts
we've
of
shot
villains.
have we shot our bolt, gentlemen?
I believe so. Yeah, let's apologize. We weren't too thorough in the back of the book because, of course, Murd always finds some nuggets in the back there. But we're sort of also pressed for time. We have another episode we need to get
Yes, we
recorded
do.
rather soon. But as always, bring up on the forums anything that we might have missed. Because, like I said, I completely missed Animosity the first time around, and I'm looking forward to getting that. And it looks really, really cool. There are some gems to be found throughout this. So,
Yeah, there sure
And we'll announce our OTRs as soon as we confer with Murd and Danielle in the near future.
absolutely.
So,
Confer with our compatriots.
Yes.
indeed.
All right. And once again, this episode was brought to you by Discount Comic Book Service. Go to dcbservice.com for all of your pre-ordering needs.
Visit us at comicgeekspeak.com. To send us an email, the address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. To leave a voicemail, the number is 267-702-6642. Please send in things for our Tribute Jamie episode. It should be a lot of fun. Stop by thecomicforums.vanillaforums.com, and like Pants and everyone has already said, leave us what we've missed. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Thanks to everyone for sending things and contributing to the episodes. We appreciate it in spite of Chris's terrible dancing. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
You got it on Wednesday, and you was talking about it, going to the volume up. These guys will talk about it, everything that keeps love. From cakes to laser beams,